Welcome to Film on Tape, a free audio library for creatives in film and television. My name is Misha Calvert, and I've worked as an actor, writer, director, and producer for many decades. I had so many questions when I was first getting started in New York, and I just wanted fast, free answers. That is what this library is for. The work that you do as a creative is so important. I really hope that this library is going to help get your work out there. Film on Tape is sponsored by Vermilion, a coaching and educational company for creatives. You can learn more at clubvermilion.com. Negativity and rejection can feel so hard and so impenetrable and heavy and like forever, and yet they are critical to your success. I want to talk to you today about how to transform negativity and rejection from a bad thing to an extremely good thing. Basically, how to turn them into a gift, and not in a cute, like Hallmark kind of way, like in a real way that hopefully will change your entire way of thinking about this. Now, I'm someone who has experienced a lot of rejection in my life. I was bullied as a kid, like it was really bad. And there was a period of about 10 years where I basically didn't have any friends. And I was a total pariah in school. And I wasn't really accepted at home either. So it created a lot of, I would say, like scar tissue psychologically. And it's been really tough to process that, but I have processed it. And it's actually the thing that has allowed me to be a serial entrepreneur. It's what's allowed me to bypass a lot of what would have been bad relationships, like dead-end relationships. I see friends now that are in marriages that just aren't fulfilling, and in friendships that are really like harmful to them sometimes. And because I'm so used to, from that experience of being rejected and being alone, like I'm just okay to be alone. I have a lot of lived experience with negativity and rejection, and I hope that as we talk about this today, that this will be helpful to you in processing some of your own experiences with this. Because the fear of social rejection is one of the top reasons that we stay anonymous and that we don't go for it. Whether that's launching a business, pursuing a career as an artist, even like trying to be friends with or go out with the people that you really want to fill your life with. Like we're just afraid of rejection, so we don't even try. It prevents us from putting ourselves out there, and it will limit your career. It will limit the amount of money you're able to make. It will limit the amount of creativity and expression that you allow into your life. So the path from where you are now and where you want to be, it involves a lot of failure. It's basically filled with cringe. It's like a pit of cringe and market testing. There's so much iteration when you're trying to launch something new. By definition, bringing something to market is going to mean failure. You're never, ever, ever going to be perfect at something in the beginning. I mean, even Mozart had to practice. If you want to progress in your career, you're going to have to work with your relationship to failure, which is then amplified by other people projecting failure onto you and rejecting you. You're just going to have to work on your relationship with rejection and negativity. Now, again, I know how hard it can be. I know how scary it can be to basically have people like hurtling their shit at you online, especially keyboard warriors who will say whatever. And then, in person, they would never have the balls, but they're just so hateful and they're so mean online. I want you to be able to take that shit and turn it into gold. Literally like fertilizer, which is shit. I mean, that's how gardens grow. So take that BS and you're going to turn it into manure. You're going to turn it into fertilizer for your garden. And your garden is going to thrive. In fact, your garden could not thrive without it. Gardens can't grow without fertilizer. I mean, they can, but they'll just grow better with it. right? They need sunlight, they need water, and they're helped by fertilizer. So we're going to take these negative experiences and we're going to turn them into fertilizer. Go with me on this. And by the end of this, I want you to feel like that's what's happening for your life. Let's take on the framework of what if everyone and everything is here for your benefit? We don't have any evidence that other people actually exist. We don't know that we're not the only person in the world and everyone else is not just a projection. We don't know that. What if, this is one framing, what if everyone else is just a projection and they're only here for your benefit to give you an experience of growth and expansion and adventure? If that is the case, then there's really no stakes to anyone doing anything to you, except that you don't like it. You would prefer to have a different experience on this holodeck if you know Star Trek. So you might as well put yourself out there and just understand like this negativity isn't actually going to hurt you, but you can learn from it and you can grow from it. The question that I always love is, what is being asked of me here? We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to float this idea of you don't actually know that any of this is real. Like the negativity and the rejection that comes back, you don't know that it's even happening at all. And with these people online, like you definitely don't know how real they are. They literally could be AI bots from Russia making these comments on your DMs or your posts. Like you don't know. Just like disempower the negativity and think, okay, this is just here for me to get some kind of benefit from it because I know that I'm real. So I'm just going to take all of this as fuel and I'm going to start to dig with this question of what's being asked of me here? How am I being asked to grow? I want to talk for a second about story. So we all tell ourselves stories about situations and about people all the time. It's part of the human brain's desire to make sense of the world and to kind of protect us from danger. It's like, well, if I tell myself a story that that person punched me in the face once and they're crazy and they're violent, that means that I'm going to stay away from them because of that story and they probably won't punch me again, right? They may not be crazy or violent normally, but the story helps you to just stay alive. So stories are a natural part of being alive. And at the same time, they can be limiting. Here's why. If you decide that a story is true, you're not going to continue to be curious about it. You might not want to seek truth about why that person punched you in the face, but you might settle for whatever story your brain comes up with based on the evidence that you have. So some stories that I've heard frequently, casting directors just don't respond to me. I'm not good looking enough to be an actor. I don't have the look. Working in film is so hard. It's impossible to break through unless you're born into a Hollywood family. It's impossible to work as a woman in film. The odds are stacked against you. Or artists can't make money. You have to choose either art or money. So these are all stories that I've heard from people, most of them from multiple people. And they're not very helpful. There was a study done where women were reminded of their gender right before they went into a meeting or a test or something like that, and they actually performed much more poorly when they were reminded that they were women. These stories, you know, even if on one level statistically they might be true or like physiologically, yeah, you're a woman perhaps, but to adopt the story of what it means to be a woman and all of the baggage of that, like, I think if I thought about being a woman as I was trying to make films, I wouldn't have made half as many films as I have. I don't think about gender. I don't think about that story. I refuse to think about that story. I also refuse to think about aging. Someone tried to tell me recently, like, the age at which we peak, and I stopped him mid-sentence because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. I refuse to take that information in, and instead I'm going to operate on my own body's timeline. Now, at a certain point, I am going to die, but for now, I don't want to hear the average age at which most people start to fall apart. It doesn't help me. My dad started working out in his 60s. He became a bodybuilder in his 60s, and he looks better than basically than any other man in our family, and he's like 75 now. And he's in insanely good shape. So be careful about the stories that you pick up and the stories that you tell yourself, whether it's about gender or body type or culture or really anything, even the people around you. And that's not to dismiss or minimize systemic challenges. But my question with acknowledging systemic challenges is it actually helping you or is it hurting you? And for instance, on the topic of gender, I am done being hurt by men. I no longer am willing to allow that. And thus, I will not carry gender with me into the room. I will simply operate on a different frequency. My radio signal of just completely bypassing the gender discussion, that radio signal is going to be louder than the other people in the room who are still seeing a girl. I will be louder because I am stronger. And so the invitation is for your story to be stronger than the stories of the other people who are with you. For you to be the strongest radio signal in the room, that is leadership and that is strength and that is power. Another common story that people get wrapped up in is the villain, victim, hero cycle. And psychologists talk about this too, where frequently we're playing a part in that triangle. And as actors, like we're used to playing parts, but then it's like, well, you're playing that part in your personal life too. That's kind of crazy, right? To think that we're always trying to play a role. So let's say with this villain, victim, hero thing that you go into an audition or a pitch meeting and the person on the other side of the desk is really short with you and kind of rude to you. So you make them the villain. You're the victim. And then the reader or, one of the assistants in the room is like trying to make up for it. And they're the hero trying to like ameliorate the situation. Well, that's your perspective. Maybe from their perspective, you haven't properly prepared for the meeting and they canceled something really important in order to squeeze in this audition or this pitch meeting with you. And they're now feeling like you've wasted their time. And so now they're a victim because they're working 14-hour days and they just wanted to go to their kid's birthday party at their lunch break, but they canceled it to see your audition or whatever. So I'm just saying, like, we do step into these roles without acknowledging the humanity of the other people involved. And oftentimes that person that you think is like a gatekeeper that is so mean or so unkind or dismissive of you, they could be thinking that you're the villain. Or, they could be thinking nothing at all. I am so excited to tell you that I'm launching a brand new slate of classes that are incredibly helpful on my website. Some of the classes include on-camera acting technique and how to self-produce your own film, actor self-care, which is something that nobody talks about, and how to write a feature film in 10 days, which I'm going to teach you how I did it and how you can do it too. And believe me when I say I poured my heart into these courses. Go to clubvermillion.com. I am so excited about this website. I can't wait to work with you. Try to get off that merry-go-round and just understand the humanity of people and adopt a more neutral, like we're all equals. We're all equals here. And I'm going to approach you as an equal. I'm not going to make you anything other than somebody who did something that maybe I do or do not like, right? And then you can confront it and deal with it from there. Can you think of examples of story that you have projected onto a situation where you actually don't know that that's objectively true? You're just kind of making up a story about what you think is true. And, a lot of times that story feels bad. And it's based on trauma. It's based on other evidence that we've had in the past. But a lot of times it's like that story reinforces a negative belief and it makes us even more anxious or more angry or more sad. So try to think and analyze about the stories that you tell yourself and ask yourself, are they actually helping me or is this just causing me pain? Do I want to tell a different story? Because what if people actually love what I post online? What if the 10 people that needed to see it most see it that day? All right, let's come back to negativity and indeed every bad thing being a gift. Here's some ways to do this. What is being asked of me? My favorite question in the world. This bypasses the blame game. It bypasses the triangle. It bypasses the villain, victim, hero cycle. And it encourages you to take responsibility for finding the gift that's being presented to you. So, what is being asked of you? Are you being asked to grow? Are you being asked to change your life, to move out of a habit or a behavior that's not serving you anymore, setting new boundaries, maybe just creating better content? You know, if no one's responding, maybe you're just being asked to like think more about what you post before you post it. Re-examine your marketing campaign. Use different hashtags. It could be small, it could be big. Are you being asked to move to a different city? To have a long, hard conversation with one of your parents? Like, it's uncomfortable because something is being asked of you. So take that power back and say, okay, I'm the boss of my life. Let me figure this out. Another way to see bad things as a gift is to look at the shadow traits that are being revealed. So if someone really is annoying you, happens to me all the time in public, someone's doing something, I'm just like, oh God, it's so annoying. Invariably, it's showing me a shadow trait of myself that I am scared to show to the public. A really great book on this is The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, and it taught me so much about shadow. It's really a foundational text. Basically, anything that's activated in you is probably a trait that you haven't yet integrated. And all traits want to be integrated. They just want to feel like they're welcome in the party. They want to be welcomed in you and have you embrace them and not reject them. So as negativity comes up, you can literally take it like on social media, you can take it one comment at a time, like someone body shames you, like refers to your body in a way that you don't like. Whatever that is, take that and work it through your shadow and get to the place where you can really take ownership of that trait and love that trait about yourself. Like me, I'm getting older. Haven't had any face work done. If someone was like, you look like Jim Carrey, like old and wrinkled and like Jim Carrey right now, I'd be like, oh man, yeah. Okay, let me take my like weird face and take that through shadow and like start to love my wrinkles and love my, the strangeness of my face and like really embrace it. I don't actually look like Jim Carrey. I don't know why I said that, but there's some actors who like their entire career is elevated by the weirdness of their face. Or someone was like, because I had this recently, I posted a video on my social with a story about Val Kilmer, who my mom worked with. She worked with Val Kilmer and she worked with Tom Cruise on Top Gun. And long story short, Val Kilmer was a total dick to her. He was so rude, abandoned her at the airport when she went to pick him up. But you should just watch the video because it's better when I tell it on my Instagram. But a lot of people came in and they were really flaming that story, even though it's a true story. They were just mad that I was telling a story because he just passed away. But they were saying things that were unrelated to the story that were just insults to me. And I've done a lot of shadow work, so it wasn't that activating. But whenever a comment would itch a little bit, I'd be like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, what is that? Let me look at that and let me see if there's a way I can integrate that word because I don't want to be bothered by this anymore. I want to integrate what they've just said and really like love it and take out all the charge from it so that I can just be more processed and more complete as a person on the other side. And that way, like when you've done that enough, the comments just, it's like reading the phone book. I mean, you just don't care anymore. They could say the most insane stuff to you possible and you laugh. You laugh at the creativity. So I want to reiterate that if something kind of itches you or it hurts, it's uncomfortable, it's because there's a growth edge there. And you're being asked to grow and to expand and to take the negativity as a way to show you either your shadow or how you're being asked to expand, or even with envy, the thing that you want is showing you what's meant for you. If you didn't want it, and if it wasn't a potential outcome for you in your life or part of your dream life, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't want it. I don't want Travis Kelce's life. I mean, I know he's a superstar and like a very good athlete, but I don't want his career. I'm just happy for him. Cool. Like, he's winning at football and he's dating Taylor Swift. Like, I'm so happy for him. I don't want any of that. But someone like Denis Villeneuve, incredible filmmaker. Yeah, I want his career. I want what he's getting. I want those awards and I want those blockbuster hits. And I mean, that's that Dune, like that is my kind of movie to make. Blade Runner 2049, my kind of movie to make. So if I'm feeling envy, it's because I know that the thing that I'm envying is meant for me. And I'm being asked to grow as a filmmaker or as a person, as a woman, as an artist, to become the kind of person for whom that thing that I want, it just appears in my life. It just is. It just makes sense. So that's my job, to grow and become a better person. All right, here's a little wrap up to help you in case you are dealing with any kind of negativity or rejection or bullying or anything like that right now. I really, really want you to be okay and to see the gift in this experience. Negativity, the vast majority of the time, is not going to kill you. And I say that with tenderness and with care because I know that online bullying actually does kill people sometimes. So I don't want to diminish that. And I don't want to diminish the harmful effects of canceling people who truthfully do not deserve it, or hate crimes, or, death threats. Like, we're putting that kind of in a special category of it's illegal at that point. It's a crime. So we're just talking about mid-range, low-level negativity and rejection here. Sorry to get a little serious there, but it's a serious issue. So I just wanted to call that out. The majority of the time when we're dealing with rejection, it's not actually going to kill us like the devil, but it's not going to kill us. And our ability to weather traumatic situations and to get through rejection is often measured by our support system. So if you're a Vermilion member, for instance, you always have that support system of community where you can pop into the WhatsApp, you can ask for support, you can ask for help, and you're going to have people there who will show up for you. I will show up for you if you're a Vermilion member. And it's really important that as we just become increasingly polarized and absolutely bonkers in the United States of America and in other countries as well, that you have a support system that can have your back so that you don't spiral into mental health or shame, or like, you need that support system. And for a lot of us, when we were kids, I think of myself when I was in school, the pain of being ostracized was so great that it did feel like I was going to die. It felt like maybe the best solution was just to cease to exist. That was when my brain was still developing and I didn't have the resources to create a support system for myself or to know how to ask for help. And it may have felt like it was so painful I was going to die back then. But that was back then. That was a long time ago. I'm an adult now and I can care for myself and I can protect myself and I can take steps to mitigate the damage. And I have a responsibility to do that so that I'm not harmed and I'm not hurt. And a lot of the mindset work that we've been covering this episode, the point of that work is to mitigate damage and to never go back to that dark place again. So to end on a positive note, who do you have in your life who is giving you positivity? Who do you have that is encouraging you, that is a safe space for you? Do you have even one person? All you need is one who is an adult safe space for you, where you feel like you can go to them with pretty much any situation and they're going to receive you with love. If not, see if you can find somebody like that. I know I didn't start to really find that until 2 years ago when I was in midlife, and I got there incrementally. Actually, there were a few teachers who I didn't have the conscientiousness to realize it at the time, but they were pretty safe spaces for me in acting conservatory. And then I consciously realized it about 2 years ago when I started working with Kathy Hendrick and my coach Flynn Skidmore, and I finally found what felt to be like truly safe spaces. Like, I could not say anything that they would then weaponize or judge. But these are very evolved human beings, and I was paying them for this safe space. So even if you have to pay for it to allow your brain and your body to experience what it is to be in a completely safe and held container, it changes you. It's a really transformative experience. So maybe you have a friend like that or a family member like that. See if you can spend a little bit more time with them or just nurture that relation just a little bit. And that might give you the courage that you need to throw some social media posts up. Jump into that script that you've been meaning to finish, but you're afraid you're a bad writer. Just try to build that support network so that you can take the leap, find the gift with whatever negativity or rejection comes through, and let me know. Let me know if you end up taking that creative leap and making the thing. Because I would like to, for one, leave not a hate comment, but a love comment. I'd love to, beef you up a little bit, let you know that this is a really great thing that you're doing. Thank you very much for going with me on this. Negativity is, I can't see it really getting any better for the next couple of years just because of the climate that we're in. So it's really important to know how to handle it and to have tools to be able to stay positive and to stay kind to yourself and to others. This has been such a fulfilling conversation. I'm so glad that we covered this. And it's just so relevant. It's so relevant right now. And maybe send this to a friend if you think they need to hear it and you think they need a coping mechanism or some tools for the negativity that they might be dealing with. Feel free to share it with a friend. And yeah, thanks so much. I'm really grateful for you. Thank you so much for listening to Film on Tape. If you like the way that I approach the industry, check out our other classes, consulting, and mentorship at clubvermilion.com. Vermilion is a home for artists and those looking to expand creatively. Whether you're an actor, a film professional, an entrepreneur, or a CEO, we'll help you find your voice and hone your skills to thrive in any market at any scale. You can schedule a free phone consultation at clubvermilion.com.